I am typing this with hands that are still shaking. I feel like I'm going to throw up. I feel like the floor has dissolved under my feet and I'm falling into a black hole. My name is Mark, 22M. Since I was 16 years old, I have had one goal: get out. I grew up in a house that was chaotic, loud, and financially unstable. My parents were always borrowing money from relatives or dodging bill collectors. I promised myself I would never live like that. So, I worked. God, did I work. While my friends were going to football games and prom, I was roofing houses in 95-degree heat until my skin blistered. I washed dishes at a greasy diner until my hands were raw from the chemicals. I delivered pizzas in a rusted-out 2004 Corolla that smelled like old cheese. I saved everything. I didn't buy new clothes. I didn't buy a PS5. I ate peanut butter sandwiches for lunch every single day for 4 years. Every paycheck went into a high-yield savings account at our local credit union. My parents helped me open it when I was a minor because I wasn't 18 yet. They told me it was a joint custodial account. "We'll just be on there to sign the papers, honey," my mom had said. "It's your money. We are just the guardians." I trusted them. I turned 18, then 21, and I never took them off. I honestly forgot they were even on it. I treated that account like a vault. I never touched it. I just watched the number grow. Last week, I hit my target, $32,500. It was enough. It was enough for 2 years of tuition at the state university and a deposit on an apartment. It was my freedom. It was the physical proof that I wasn't my parents. This morning was supposed to be the best day of my life. I had my acceptance letter to the university. The tuition deposit deadline is tomorrow. I sat down at my computer with my coffee, ready to transfer the first $5,000 to the school. I logged into the banking app. I clicked on Savings. I expected to see $32,540.12. Instead, I saw $14.03. I stared at the screen. I blinked. I actually refreshed the page, thinking the Wi-Fi was glitching. It refreshed. $14.03. A cold, prickly heat washed over my entire body. My ears started ringing. I clicked on Transaction History. I scrolled down. It wasn't one big theft. It was a massacre over the last 3 weeks. 05/12. Transfer to checking. $88.90 minus $4,000. 05/15. Transfer to checking. $88.90 minus $2,500. 05/18. Payment. Carnival Cruise Lines. Minus $3,800. 05/20. Transfer to checking. $88.90 minus $10,000. 05/22. Payment. BMW Financial Services. Minus $5,000. The account ending in 8890 is my parents' main checking account. I sat there, frozen. I couldn't breathe. My chest felt tight, like someone was standing on it. They drained it. They waited until the balance was high enough, and then they treated it like a lottery win. I saw the dates, the cruise payment, the down payment on a car. I thought about the roofing tar burning my arms. I thought about the nights I missed hanging out with friends because I picked up a double shift. I thought about the peanut butter sandwiches. It was all gone. My college tuition was gone. My apartment deposit was gone. My future was gone. They stole 6 years of my life in 2 weeks. I stood up and knocked my chair over. I didn't scream. I felt something much scarier than anger. I felt a cold, dark resolve. I grabbed my keys. I wasn't going to call them. I was going to drive to their house, and I was going to look them in the eye when they told me why they decided to murder my future. The drive to their house usually takes 20 minutes. I made it in 10. When I pulled into the driveway, I saw it. The evidence. Sitting right there in the spot where my rusted Corolla usually leaked oil was a brand new, charcoal grey BMW X5. It still had the dealer plates. I stared at the car. That wasn't just metal and glass. That was my blistering skin. That was my aching back. That was my tuition. I got out of my car and walked to the front door. I didn't knock. I used my key, the key I was about to use for the last time, and walked in. The living room was cluttered with open suitcases. My mom was folding floral dresses and swimsuits. My dad was sitting on the couch, watching a massive new flat-screen TV, a beer in his hand. They looked up when I entered. Mom smiled, but it was tight. "Oh, Mark, you're just in time. We were about to head to the airport for the cruise tomorrow. Can you drive us?" I stood there, vibrating with rage. I held up my phone, the banking app open to the transaction history. "You stole my money," I said. My voice was quiet, deadly calm. Dad didn't even mute the TV. Stole is a strong word, son. It was a joint account. That means the money belongs to all of us. I earned every cent of that. I screamed, the calm fracturing instantly. I worked roofing jobs. I washed dishes. You didn't put a single dime in that account in 6 years. You drained $32,000. Mom sighed, dropping a swimsuit into the bag. "Mark, please, don't be dramatic. We needed a new car. The old van was falling apart. And your father and we've been so stressed lately. We needed a vacation. We deserve a break." "You deserve a break with my college fund." I choked out. "I have to pay my tuition deposit tomorrow. If I don't pay, I lose my spot. I lose my apartment." "You're young," Dad said, finally looking at me. "You can work. You have your whole life to save money. We are in our 50s. This is our time to enjoy life before we get too old." "You selfish monsters," I whispered. "That was my life savings." Dad stood up then. He crossed the room and stood toe-to-toe with me. He smelled like beer and arrogance. "Watch your mouth," he growled. "Selfish. You want to talk about selfish? Who fed you for 18 years? Who put clothes on your back? Who put a roof over your head? That's what parents are supposed to do." I yelled back. "That's the bare minimum." "No," Dad shook his finger in my face. "Do you have any idea how much you cost us? The food, the electricity, the braces? You lived here rent-free for your entire childhood. We calculated it, Mark. You easily owe us $100,000 for raising you. Taking $30,000 back is a discount. Consider it a reimbursement for your existence." I looked at my mother. I wanted her to defend me. I wanted her to say, "No, honey, we made a mistake." Instead, she looked at me with pity. "Honey, your father is right. We sacrificed everything for you. Now that you're an adult with a good work ethic, it's your turn to help the family. You shouldn't be hoarding money when your parents are driving an old clunker." "So you're not giving it back?" I asked. "You're really going to go on a cruise while I go broke?" "We can't give it back," Mom said, zipping up a suitcase. "It's spent. The car is paid for. The cruise is non-refundable. Just work extra shifts this summer. You'll be fine." "I won't be fine," I said. "I'm moving out. Today." "Good luck," Dad laughed, sitting back down. "With what money?" "You have $14. He took a sip of his beer. "Now, are you driving us to the airport or do we need to call an Uber? An Uber costs money, you know. Money we could have saved for your birthday gift." I looked at them. I looked at the new TV. I looked at the pack bags. They didn't see me as a son. They saw me as a bank account they had finally decided to cash out. They thought they had one because my name was on the account with theirs. They thought legal technicalities would protect them. I turned around and walked out the door. "Mark." Mom called after me. "Don't be like this. We are family." I got into my rusted Corolla. I looked at the shiny BMW one last time. They thought the joint account protected them. They forgot one thing. I wasn't just a roofer. I was an accounting major. And I knew that while they had access to the account, the source of the funds matters in a court of law. And I also knew something else about that new BMW they were so proud of. I didn't go to work. I didn't go to my apartment. I drove straight to the bank. I sat down with the branch manager, a woman named Mrs. Higgins. I was calm, but I must have looked terrifying because she called security over to stand near the door. "I need to report unauthorized activity," I said, sliding my ID and the withdrawal receipts across the desk. "Sir," she said gently, looking at the account, "this is a joint account. Technically, the other signers have access." "It was a custodial account," I corrected her, pointing to the original paperwork code on the screen. opened under the UTMA, Uniform Transfers to Minors Act. Under state law, the funds in a UTMA account belong irrevocably to the minor. The custodians are fiduciary agents. They are legally barred from using those funds for their own benefit. They bought a BMW and a cruise. That is embezzlement and theft. Mrs. Higgins paused. She typed for a moment, her face paling as she saw the transaction history. She saw the direct payments to BMW Financial and Carnival Cruise. "You are correct," she whispered. "If these funds were not used for your benefit, this is a violation of the custodial agreement." "I want to flag this for fraud," I said. "And I want a certified copy of every transaction for the police." The police station. An hour later, I was sitting across from a detective. My parents had made a critical error. They assumed that family business stayed in the family. They assumed I wouldn't drag the law into it because I was their son. I laid it all out. The pay stubs proving 100% of the money was my income. The custodial nature of the account. The confession they made in the living room about reimbursement. $32,000 is a Class C felony, the detective said, looking at the file. Grand larceny. "I want to press charges," I said. "And I want to file a civil forfeiture claim on the vehicle purchased with stolen funds." The fallout. The timing, as it turned out, was poetic. My parents were at the airport the next morning, standing at the check-in counter for their flight to Miami to catch the cruise. They swiped their debit card to check their bags. Declined. They swiped a credit card. Declined. Because I had flagged the fraud with the bank, their accounts, which were linked to the investigation, were frozen pending a review. While they were screaming at the airline attendant, 2 airport police officers approached them. The detective I spoke to had put a flag on their names. They weren't arrested on the spot, but they were detained for questioning regarding the embezzlement investigation. They missed their flight. They missed the cruise. The consequences. The legal battle took 4 months. My parents tried to play the victim. They cried in court. They told the judge they were good parents who were just borrowing the money. The judge didn't buy it. The law regarding UTMA accounts is clear. You cannot rob your child. The verdict. My parents were found guilty of misappropriation of funds. They avoided prison time by agreeing to a plea deal that required immediate restitution, but they now have felony records for fraud. The BMW, since it was bought with stolen money, it was seized. It was sold at auction, and the proceeds were returned to me. The restitution, to pay back the rest, the cruise money and the cash transfers, the court placed a lien on their house. They had to take out a second mortgage to pay me back in full. The aftermath. I got my money back. All of it. I paid my tuition deposit late, but the university made an exception when I showed them the police report. I moved into my apartment last month. I haven't spoken to my parents since the day I walked out of their living room. My mom sends me letters sometimes, begging me to call, telling me that the lien on the house is crippling them and that I'm cruel for ruining their retirement. I burned the letters without reading them. I sit in my apartment now, an apartment I paid for, and I eat peanut butter sandwiches. Not because I have to, but because I like them. They taste like freedom. They wanted me to pay them back for raising me? Fine. They paid me back for betraying me. We are even.